Hi folks, hope you're keeping well. This is my calmer reflection on the Scotland against England game that happened on Saturday. Obviously, final score Scotland 20, England 17, and as you'll see from my quick post-match reaction, I was absolutely over the moon with it. But it was a very tough game, a very nervy game. To be honest, we didn't really have the ball for most of it, but our defence was very good for the most part, and England also, I think, lacked creativity as well, apart from Marcus Smith in a couple of moments, which I'm going to talk about as we go through this video. The game really started with England, as I said, pretty much having all the ball. They eventually got a penalty from Marcus Smith, and then when we actually did have the ball, we threw a quick line out. One could argue the dubious nature of it because the touch judge was technically in front of George Turner as he threw the ball, and you could say he should have gotten out the way, but the teams in the line-outs both looked set and ready to take it, and there was no complaints from England, so we took it quickly, we set it to the middle of the field, got it out. Stuart Hogg put a lovely offload into Darcy Graham. Darcy Graham ran through, showed some great footwork and passed it into Ben White, who had come on as a concussion replacement for Ali Price. Ali Price came back on later. Ben White, from the cameo he had then and when he came on later in the game, had an excellent debut, so well done to him. He got the try. And then just before half time, when we started to actually get momentum in the game and started to get some front foot ball and keep the ball for a bit, Finn Russell then kicked a penalty to make it 10-6 at half time, but England came back into it in the second half, and they started to keep the ball well, and Marcus Smith then nailed the penalty, and then off a driving maul, Ben Youngs drew the Scotland defenders in. He ran a great angle, then he passed it into Marcus Smith, who came up flat in the line. He picked his line absolutely superbly, as he's capable of doing. Said before the match, this guy's got all the bags of tricks in the world. He's got so much talent, but he picked his line brilliantly and then just went through the gap that was created and went on to score England's try to make it 14-10, and then he missed the conversion but kicked another penalty, and then this is where the game changed in our favour, which was great for us, but brilliant play from Finn Russell, where he kicked a fantastic crossfield kick towards Duhan van der Merwe. Van der Merwe caught it, and then he kicked another fantastic crossfield kick towards Darcy Graham. And looking back on it again, Luke Cowan-Dickie, as I said on Saturday, thank you very much, because I just looked at it back again, and Cowan-Dickie absolutely could have caught that. He could have either caught it or at the very least put his hands backwards to make it look, at the very least, look like he was trying to bat it backwards. Instead, he just basically played the volleyball and just smacked it forwards, and his options were, at the very least, try to bat it backwards. At the worst he could have done, I think is what he did, but he also could have either just let Darcy Graham caught it, and he might have actually tackled him because he wasn't actually too far away from Darcy Graham, so he could have let Darcy Graham caught it, even if he conceded a try. But no, it was just stupid. He just basically played volleyball and just batted it forwards, and he basically handed the game to Scotland there. It was a penalty try because the last England defender, aside from Cowan-Dickie, was near the goal post, and the situation is you have to take Luke Cowan-Dickie out of the equation. When you're considering a penalty try, you have to take the offending player out of the equation, and if the offending player wasn't there and had he made an offence, would a try have probably been scored? And if you take Luke Cowan-Dickie out of there, it's very probable that Darcy Graham would have caught the ball and went in to score the try. So I think it was the right decision there. Yellow card and penalty try, and as I said, all the England defenders were about 20 metres away from the situation, 15-20 metres away from the situation, so they wouldn't have had an impact at all had Luke Cowan-Dickie not been there. So right call there. And then Finn Russell showed some brilliant smartness, knowing that it was a hooker off the pitch in the bend, where he kicked the ball, he shredded the ball down the right-hand side with a kick into the England 22, and because England hadn't made their replacement yet, and hadn't brought Jamie George on yet, it was Joe Marler who made the throw-in. I gather he's had a laugh about it, and fair play to him for having a sense of humour there, but still his throw was poor, and also it was dubious where the receiver was he in the 5, but it was given for a not straight throw, which was right, and then we got a penalty off a scrum. Finn kicked us into the lead, and then towards the end, England had a succession of scrums. No, before then actually, they had a penalty which was very kickable for Elliot Daly at least, but they decided to go for the corner instead of levelling things up, and that came back to bite them because they had all those scrums at the end. And looking back on it, there was a couple of dubious ones you could argue, but there was nothing clear-cut that says a penalty should have been given. I know with scrums, at times it can often seem like a lottery, and a lot of folk, even referees sometimes, don't always know what they're doing. They're just normally picking up the first offence, and they're normally just looking at mostly looking at the team who's got forward momentum and seeing where the infringement is coming from the team who's not got the momentum, is going backwards. But that's just generally normally how referees scrums. But again, in that situation when it's the 80th minute, referees are inclined to not give any penalties there unless it's a clear-cut and obvious penalty that's occurred, and there was nothing too clear-cut in any of those scrums from what I saw. A couple of dubious ones, but I didn't think there was anything clear-cut. So yeah, I could argue right enough there, but I think England only have themselves to blame, because of obviously not taking that opportunity to make it 20-all, but also Eddie Jones's tactical substitutions were really poor. I have no idea why he took Marcus Smith off when he was having an excellent game, and George Ford didn't really bring anything to the table when he came on, really. I mean, both his kicks to touch near the end were pretty poor by standards. I know he could say, okay, it's safe, but still, I think there was he could have done better with those kicks to touch. Yeah, and also the law does state with regards to front row replacement that when a front rower is in the bin, then they can bring on a replacement at any time during the 10-minute period. There's nothing clear-cut to say it has to be specifically when a scrum occurs during that 10-minute period. So again, I think Eddie Jones missed a trick there, and his substitutions and tactics overall, by his standards, were actually pretty poor, you have to say. And yeah, so I think a lesson for him. I mean, I think Marcus Smith has to be the England 10 going forward. From Scotland's point of view, we've got Wales next week, and Wales aren't looking that good, but I know Wales will be better next week, and it's in Cardiff, so with the Principality Stadium in full voice, that will have an effect, I think. But I think it's a match we definitely can win. We're definitely capable. In terms of the rugby being played, we're looking better than Wales right now. Defensively, we're looking a lot better than Wales, absolutely. But I mean, I would like to see us just keep the ball more, just have more of the ball, because on Saturday, we won the match, but we actually didn't really have that much of the ball when you think about it. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. It should be a good one. Thank you very much for listening, guys. That's all I've really got to say in this review. I'm looking forward to the games on Saturday. I'm going to be doing a live watch-along with Brandon Smith on BS Rugby. I'll leave a link to his channel in the description below. Thank you very much for watching. Take care of yourselves, and I'll catch you later on.